If you want to get good at something really, really quickly, then trying to be a perfectionist is the wrong way to go about it. And today I want to explain why. Having the ability to get good at anything really, really quickly, or otherwise known as rapid skill acquisition, has to be one of the most useful meta skills that I can think of. I mean, imagine if you could learn to write, if you could learn Italian, if you could learn to start a business, or if you could learn to play the piano in half the time or a quarter of the time of the average person. That would be so useful, right? Especially as we're all so busy. Well, the funny thing is, even though this sounds like a bit of a pipe dream, there's actually a set of principles that you can apply to pretty much any skill that will make you learn it faster. So one of the crucial things, if you want to get good at something really fast, is to get your reps in. Now, let me explain this with an example. Imagine two writers, Roger and Dawn, and both these aspire to be an author one day. They want to publish their own book and they want to sell copies and stuff like that. But they both realize that their skills aren't where they need them to be. They need to improve their skill set before they can get to that point. So they set about the task of doing that. They both create websites and they both decide that the best way is to just publish content to their website and get some practice. Here's where the story differs. So Roger, he's a bit of a perfectionist, right? He's really attached to the content that he produces, and he won't stop at anything to make sure that whenever he publishes an article, it's his best stuff. The problem with this is it takes Roger 2 weeks to get his first article on his website because he keeps diving in and out of nuances and intricacies and he keeps changing things. He has this perfectionistic mindset towards it all. And then it takes another 2 weeks to get his second piece out. So within the first month of trying to improve his skill, he only has 2 pieces of content on his website. Dawn, on the other hand, takes a completely different approach. She completely detaches herself from the quality of the output in that she's not really worried if she doesn't publish her best stuff. Instead, she's focused on the practice. She says to herself, okay, every day I'm going to write for 2 hours, and at the end of those 2 hours, I'm going to publish what I've created. Whether it's good or whether it's rubbish, it's getting published. And every day she does this exact same thing. So rather than being tied up on the quality of work that she produces, she's really focused on making sure she just keeps getting those reps in, that she keeps publishing content on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So let me ask you a question. Which of those two writers do you think would improve their skill set the fastest? Roger, the perfectionist, or Dawn, who is focused more on practice? Dawn will almost certainly have improved her skill set faster, and here's why. Firstly, Roger's first article will probably be way better than Dawn's first article because he spent 2 weeks doing it. He spent a lot more time putting that thing together than Dawn, who only spent 2 hours doing it. So that's true. And also Roger's second article is probably better than Dawn's second article for the same reason. However, here's the key point. In the time it took Roger to create that first article, Dawn has already done 10 rounds of practice. She's already published 10 times and got feedback 10 times on her work. And each day that goes by, she's trying to make her article slightly better than the day before, using the feedback that she's been given. It's easy to imagine that 10 pieces of feedback, 10 chances to practice, will produce way better results in terms of skill acquisition than just spending 2 weeks to publish one thing, right? And this illustrates the whole concept of what I mean by getting your reps in. If your goal is to improve a skill set as fast as possible, then the best way to do that is to get repetitions, to do rounds of practice, to get something out there, get some feedback, get something else out there, get some feedback, and just continually improve like that. Rapid, quick-fire succession. Now, of course, in the short term, that's going to mean a sacrifice in quality. But that's okay, because if you're trying to improve your skills, then you can do that. You can sacrifice your quality in the short term because you know that in the longer term, you're going to produce way better stuff than if you're a perfectionist. Skill hackers are happy to sacrifice the quality of their work early on in order to beat on their craft, because they know that in the long term, that's going to pay off. Here are a few examples of getting your reps in. So let's say you move to Italy and you don't speak the language. Well, instead of waiting 3 months to go on a language course and get comfortable with Italian, learn a few phrases straight away and go up there and start talking to the locals immediately on day one. Of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. Of course, you're probably not going to have an amazing conversation, but you're getting that experience, you're getting that feedback, you're getting your reps in. You're just going to learn Italian way faster. This is also true for things like sports. For instance, if you want to play pool, or billiards, or however you call it. Rather than just waiting 6 months to get lessons or to practice to get to a certain level, jump into competitions immediately and play money games against people straight away. Of course, you won't win the competition and you probably will lose a bit of money if you're betting, but you'll get that experience of playing against a competitor. You'll learn so much faster by getting this experience, by getting those reps in early on. If you want to practice your public speaking skills, then the best way to do this is to join a local meetup group like Toastmasters or Speak Easy. You'll be able to give a talk to people, and it doesn't really matter if the talk is any good or not. It doesn't even matter if you completely lose your way. It's just a great way of getting your reps in. You'll give a speech and people will give you feedback, and you can give another speech and it'll be slightly better than the one you did before. This way, you'll become a much better public speaker much faster. The important takeaway from all this is that whenever you're doing something, it's important you understand what your goal is. If your goal is performance, if your goal is to produce something amazing, if the goal is to do the best you possibly can, then of course, you need to take as long as you need to take. You need to put in the hours, you need to make sure everything is right. But if your goal is just to get really good at something, and you want to get as good as possible in the fastest possible time, then you need to get your reps in. It means getting rounds of practice in as fast as possible. And each time you do a round, you get some feedback and you know exactly what you need to do next time to improve. So listen, if you want to be in the top 1% in your field, in any skill or discipline or whatever it is you want to be good at, then focus on getting your reps in. And do this for months or years. And at some point, you're going to reach a level of skill where you look around and you're like, damn, there's actually nobody better at this than I am right now. And at that point, then you can focus on putting out your best stuff and you'll blow everybody else away. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like my video, subscribe to the channel, got plenty more videos like this coming up. And if you're trying to grind on a skill right now, leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Speak to you soon.